Hey guys, Jen here. So I was in the shower and I was compelled to make this video and talk about a couple of things real quick. Maybe as a warning, I suppose it's just some things that my discernment has put together, and I just think it's important to mention that nobody else is mentioning. So Trump just mentioned in a speech something about Cuba next. Right as he said that, something came through my feed because I'm subscribed to a variety of different things from Cuba saying, well, not from Cuba, but from a southern channel talking about how the whole island was without power. So you mean to tell me those things aren't connected? You're just going after, you're just wanting a change of the regime for the people to help these people all over the world, but you're starting by blacking out everybody. That's what it appears to me. That's what my discernment tells me. So yeah, Tom Hanks appeared again. He looks rough. We've all had a rough couple of years. I don't think that's anything to make fun of. Ladies, if I were you, I'd probably cover my hair. And I'll get to why in a minute. So Tom Hanks made an appearance again. Now, if you recall, back in 2019, to kick off the Rona lockdowns and all these different things, Tom Hanks made an appearance. Now, you also know that he is on these Epstein list files. I think those are important, but I do believe at the same time, it's almost like a kill switch. I believe there's things in there that might not be a good idea to see or look at. Just my opinion, moving forward, because that is a big problem. We do need to get people like that away from children, obviously. I have a very personal reason for thinking that as well. So trust me when I say I'm with you on all of those things. But I am a pacifist, and I don't believe in promoting violence. I do believe we should be spiritually evolved enough at this point to avoid that, but that's what these beings want. They don't care if it's man versus woman. What you need to understand is the people, there's going to be two paths, and it's not Christians versus Muslims per se. It's not man versus woman per se. It's not Democrat versus Republican per se. All those people who are for war and promoting violence, especially in these times, that is one path. They are choosing their animalistic base primal behaviors over a path of harmony with your environment and spiritual progress, which I believe we're supposed to do as conscious beings. So yeah, I lost my thought a little bit there, but I'll get it back. Hang on. So Tom Hanks did make this appearance. He did not look the greatest, but if you remember back in 2019, he kicked off the Rona lockdowns, and he made a post with a Corona typewriter in it, and then things kicked off. I believe that was telling us the script, it's time for the script to kick off. They called it Event 201. Now, I think it's a signal for something, and I'll get to what in a second. It could be a few different things. Netanyahu was also pictured with coffee. It's not him, it's AI. My question is, have these people been AI all along? The last meeting with Putin, he looked very strange, almost robotic in front of the press. Alien-like, and his expressions reminded me of that Sophia droid. Yeah, so there's a lot going on. So I believe this is to kick something off. They both had the coffee. Now, is it a sign saying not to drink the coffee? Is there something wrong with it? I would avoid it anyway. I believe in these times it's good to discipline yourself, be the master of your own domain. But I did a series of videos on coffee a while back, several months ago, talking about its origins and how it came to be, because I thought it was strange that the LDS Church, in strict LDS branches, you're not allowed to partake of coffee at all. And I always wondered why. And then we looked up and we found out that coffee is a beverage of choice of Loki, the god of chaos. So I thought that was interesting as well, that correlation. So I would avoid drinking it. But another thing, the Pope back in the day, another side of this is that the Pope called it the devil's drink. And they wouldn't allow Catholics to drink coffee. But then he sat down with some Muslims and they were talking, just about their theologies and the different ways we believe in things and our different faiths. And he decided he really liked it. So in World War II, it was also a sign of, like, if you had coffee, you were doing okay. Coffee was hard to come by. People sometimes would use the same filter multiple times, the same beans multiple times. It was almost like water at a point. Allegedly, this is how the Depression went. So this coffee could be symbolizing a lot of different things. I would avoid it. I wouldn't be drinking it right now because it could signify something else as well. And we know that if Hanks was used to kick off the Rona event, they could be starting some type of thing here in America, like they did, like I believe they did in Gaza. People need to understand how serious this is. They have gotten to the point, the propaganda about America, I believe it started, well, it didn't start, but it kind of climaxed with Jersey Shore. They see how Americans are. They see us as rude, spoiled, prideful people. Gen Z, millennials, Y, Gen X, I guess they have mixed feelings about us. But regardless, things are going to get very hard, and things are very hard for some people, and they might not be hard for you yet, but that doesn't mean that things aren't happening. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes. Personally, again, I would point you to the video I just did, just as a reminder. Back in 2019, they announced that Trump was going to go to a secure location in Cheyenne Mountain. They announced where he was going, but they did say that they were taking him to a secure location. We never heard anything else. And then they announced that the Pope and the Queen had passed away pretty close together, but they recanted those. Again, I don't work at this time, so I leave things on while I'm doing chores and whatnot. And I make sure to tune into world news and just not be zoned in on one paradigm, because I also feel like that's a little self-centered. I need to have some type of, just because I'm not well-traveled doesn't mean I can't be aware of the situations and hardships of other, I consider them my neighbors. And a lot of people are with Trump right now. People are going to start to hate him, though. You don't understand, and they're going to hate the people that voted for him, and they want this to turn into a holy war, and civil war, and they might get their wish. So again, you need to be very careful about how you move through this and how you navigate these choppy waters throughout the next several months, especially because things will probably, you might start to feel a lot more pressure all around, and spiritually and from our system. I would say do the Hopi way. I think we need to detach from the system. I have it in my head. I kind of want to do a 40-day pilgrimage with my dog to another state, just to bring awareness back to the morality, of natural law and the Creator's ways, and possibly a rosary pilgrimage, but I don't know. I'm still praying on that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. But that's what ideally, I think that's what we need to do. And when one person starts to do it, more people will do it. And of course, it's going to be hard, and we're going to face hardships, and you'll have to be uncomfortable, but you'll be freer, because this system digitally will lock you down. What you don't understand is they've had this system in place for many years, and a lot of people started to catch on to it. I'm not sure what happened, why. I think it's our diets. A lot of people went to clean eating, and when you do that, it clears your spiritual eyes, and now people are able to see that everybody is not the same here. And I still, do no harm. That doesn't mean that you have a right to take a sentient life, but at the same time, you do need to be cautious. The most dangerous weapon you have here is your sovereignty. We belong here, and some people say, well, I don't belong here. Christ said he's not of this place. We still need our bodies for something, obviously, because his transmuted into an incorruptible body. Do you see what I'm saying? But they want us to bury it 6 feet under. So there's the signifier, symbolically speaking, of what that represents. So just be very careful and wise in these times, and spread, the messages that you hear here, because I do believe things are going to get harder. We might see lockdowns, and something is kicking off. That's why Hanks is back on the scene. And these people have no shame, like with all this stuff going on, and they're still, like, they went back to old Hollywood, and they're all glamorous for the Oscars. And trust, they're not in LA. Back when the celebrities did the John Lennon song Imagine, and that Israeli woman who played Wonder Woman was crying, I knew that they knew what was coming. And a lot of people moved out of America. They are not here anymore, or they are in very secure locations because of what they are trying to stir up. And I think it's interesting. Some YouTubers are instigating and say, aren't you ever going to do anything? Aren't you ever going to do anything? Well, they should lead the way then. Don't you think? Don't be baited. We're to love one another, and I think that will get us through this. People will be protected depending on how you walk this out and the choices that you make. I love you. Try to discipline yourself in this time. If you're familiar with being Catholic or being Muslim, it's Ramadan and or Lent. It's a good time to give to others at this time, and to just be more selfless. I want you, to look inward for answers, but to look outward as far as perspective. Try to put yourself in other people's shoes, because we don't know who here is who, right? And I do believe there are some that, are just, they're legitimately not real people. I don't know how else to say that. And they show us sometimes. They slip up with their filters and whatnot, and they show us. But anyways, be careful not to fall for these agendas, because some of these agendas are just to make people look crazy. Like the reptilian one. There are definitely beings here that are different than us. Do they look like that? I don't think so. I've never seen them look like that. But trust and believe that that is an agenda people are pushing. And the child harming one, that is the worst accusation you can make against someone. And oftentimes, especially in times like these, the ones who are guilty are pointing the fingers at other people and persecuting them. And sometimes they just want our minds to be on these things, to kind of corrupt our minds and bring us down lower, because they do, I believe, they are psychic vampires. They like it when we are sad and down and low and condemning ourselves. So walk this out with discipline, but at the same time, give yourself grace. All right, I love you. That's all I have to say. Just please be careful walking this out. Maybe give up coffee for Lent or Ramadan. It's a good time to do those things. God bless you guys, and be safe. That sounds like their cult thing, but you know what I mean.